All right. And so at about 4 o'clock, the meeting began. And what the Shoshone need, of course, is guns. Lewis and Clark have no intention of giving them any guns. But the promise was that they kept throwing out there was, we have to get to the Pacific. That's our mission. We have to get to the Pacific, and to get to the Pacific, we need horses. We have to find a route through here so that other Americans, other white people can come up here with guns. And we want to establish trade with you, right? And so, you know, the Shoshones didn't need Lewis and Clark now. Lewis and Clark needed them. But down the road, the Shoshones needed Americans if they're going to get guns and compete out here on the prairie. So, and so they started negotiating, and they're doing this 5-person translation chain from Kamehameha to Sacagawea, because she speaks Shoshone and Hidatsa, and then from her to her husband, because he speaks Hidatsa and French, and then from Charbonneau to a guy named Lapiche, who speaks French and English, and then from him to Lewis and Clark. And so it's 5 people, and as soon as the thing gets going, Sacagawea starts looking at the chief and realizes almost immediately that it's her brother. And she breaks into tears and runs over and starts hugging him, and he recognizes her. It's her freaking brother. I mean, if you were writing a book about something like this, you wouldn't dare write a scene like this, because people would read it and go, yeah, right, like that would ever happen. But that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, the Lewis and Clark expedition got incredibly lucky on a number of times, and this is maybe the biggest of them, that the guy who's responsible for giving them horses that's going to save the whole expedition happens to be the brother of the woman that they brought halfway across the country with them, and is married to one of them, right? And so Kamehameha agrees. He says, I don't have enough horses to take on, because they're going to leave everything here. This is the end of the rivers for the Lewis and, or, you know, on the eastern side of the Rockies for Lewis and Clark. They're now going to have to get horses and get through the Rockies. And so Kamehameha said, I don't have enough horses to portage all your stuff and all your men over, but tomorrow morning, that'd be the 18th of August, I'll go back over to my village on the other side, and I'll round up some men to help and round up some horses. And right away, they started buying horses. Lewis and his men started buying horses. They bought 3 horses for some clothes, some knives, and one of the privates himself took off his shirt and some sort of pants he had and a knife, and gave it and sold that just for that to one of the Indians for a horse. And so the prices were really, really good. And in fact, for the 3 horses that they got, Lewis said in his journal that all the stuff they gave for those 3 horses would have cost in the United States about $20. And so, but they were just amazed by all these things. They never, you know, this is the first white people they'd ever seen. And so any of this stuff was new. They gave them mirrors, they gave them beads. And so all this stuff was just really amazing to them, and they really wanted to get, you know, both sides thought they got a really good deal here. The next morning also, Clark set out early. Clark wanted, because they had asked Kamehameha on the other side, where can we go to get down to the Columbia River? And he said, well, you can't go the Salmon River. It's too dangerous, too many rapids, and too steep of walls. Clark wanted to check it out for himself. So he headed out early with a horse the next morning, along with Sacagawea and Charbonneau. The 3 of them were going to go scout out the river, and if they found that it was navigable, they were going to start making canoes so they could go down the river. If not, they would come back to the camp there on the other side of the mountains. All right, cool.